Hello everyone, and welcome to Bargain Gaming. In the last episode, we finished with this development phase, and so if once we're done with this, by clicking on this, we will now move into the battle phase. But before I do that, what I can do is I can set up the battle phase while this is still on a paused basis, and by clicking on our fortress, the deploy, the button on deploy will allow us to send out our troops. So by pressing X, the computer has pre-selected the main general and two assistant generals to send into the fight. And then that means we'll also have 1,500 troops that we can send. And of that 1,500, 300 will be cavalry. Now, we can have the choice, using the D-pad, you can move it all the way up to the the change button. And we can change who the people we want to send to battle. By pressing on that, it gives us all the other options so we can send. But since, as I said before, that the characters I created they have the similar statistics on the high side. At this point in time, it's okay to let the computer pick the leaders and the two adjutants for me. But later on in the game, as we get more samurais that are within the game, whose stats are not as strong, sometimes it is better for us to pick who the leader would be and the two adjutants. And this, for now, it's fine. Later on, we will have to actually check the stats of the three people. So sometimes their stats might not be that high, but some of them have traits that are actually complementary. And that is something I can go more into detail in the officer creation tutorial that I think I will create, or I'll make in a samurai officer creation tutorial, and I will tell about certain traits there. It's not fighting ability, and development ability are not purely based on individual officer stats. It's also very much dependent on the traits or specific abilities that they have. So in this case, let's just go and deploy them. So by clicking on deploy, they are now formed. That's our army. So R1 lets us zoom out a little bit, and now we will target what fortress we want to go and take over. So we'll take this one. The reason I'll pick this one is that, okay, I'll press an X, and so they will now target this one. The reason I'm picking this one is that, zooming out a little bit, we will see that this person has the same emblem as this one, and this one. So this clan has 3 fortresses and 1 castle. The other target that we can have from our fortress is this clan with this yellow, like fleur-de-lis or something, like a flower. It has this fortress, and this castle. Oh, and another fortress over here. So again, 3 fortresses and 1 castle. But look at this. The castle here has like 10,000 hit points. That's kind of hard. And it has 2,000 initial starting soldiers. While this castle has 1,500 and only a castle that has 3,000 hit points. Fortresses are about the same. They're all about 1,000. Oh, this one has 4,000 hit points. This one is only 1,000. This one is 2,000. So this is a weaker clan, and it's a weaker target to hit. The other thing that to take note is that in fighting and taking over fortresses and castles, sometimes you capture officers, enemy officers. And while the clans still exist, it's very hard to convert them to be subservient to you, or to acquire them, or to hire them as your officers. So I usually go for the weaker clan and really wipe out the whole clan, so that I can, once the clan is totally obliterated, the officers' chances of being hired by us is much, much higher. While the clan is alive, one of their castles or one of their fortresses is alive or is standing, it is almost next to impossible to hire them. So I will first concentrate on the weaker clans. And as soon as I have already targeted this castle, as soon as we, pressing the triangle button, as soon as we end the development phase, we will go into the battle phase. And we will see our army marching towards this fortress, this target. Okay, let's do that. End of the turn. It will take more than a month, most of June. So pressing this triangle button again, we pause it. And once it's paused, you will see that our target fortress that we're heading towards has sent out their own troops here, and we don't know how many, we can't see. Since at this early part of the game, all the other daimyos, including us, have not really developed or our fortresses or castles, so the soldiers are all grayed out. These are like their starting soldiers. So we know at this level of the game that this fortress has 500 soldiers, and so does this one, and so does this one. This one has 1,000. So at this level of the game, we know they have. The reason they're grayed out is that as we progress into more of the game, these guys will have the opportunity to conscript more soldiers, develop their towns, etc., etc. And so that's a grayed out number. So it's just an approximate number of what that fortress started with. So as we go into the game, that would be a lot more. What we'll see, it will be a lot more, unless we actually send in espionage and try to look at how many soldiers are in there. So triangle button, and we can unpause this by pressing the end of turn button. It will continue. So the other clan has also sent out an army. Now we can see how big that army is. Oh, we don't know. It's actually 500. So it's grayed out. We don't know. Those are just approximate numbers. And they just park them here in case we actually go this way towards their castle. So when you pause it and we click on our army, it gives us set a new target. Or this one allows us to go back home. And this shows us what the unit info is. So we can, by clicking on this one, we can now change the target to this castle, this army, or this army, or that castle. So let's not do that and just continue with our current target. So we can click on this target to reaffirm that is one, or it doesn't need to. I will just use the star button, the triangle button, and then end of turn, and it will continue. So in this game, you can actually micromanage the individual battle itself, but it slows the game down a lot more. So there are other games that are very good for micromanaging specific battles, and that is under the Total War series. I have played those games, and they are really great for managing regiment levels, unit levels. In this game, the battle is a lot simpler, and a lot of the gameplay is more in the development phase. And so I will skip that for the moment. In addition to the development phase, this game also gives you certain quests. These quests sometimes reward you with gold, sometimes reward you with a special ability, and it actually well adds to the game. So I will take this quest. So the quest given to us is wealth and power. Yes, I'll accept it. And the conditions is that we have to increase our crops to 450, our craft to 400, and conscripts to 350. Okay, that's great. Now we're going into the next month. In this month, it shows how much we spent the last month. Total expenses last month was 1,000, and the total income for the month of June was 820. 30 came from the base, and 790 from the mines and the port. Okay, accept that. And so remember we sent somebody to scout our new fortress, so they found a new mine. And also we sent 2 people to appease the 2 tribes. So now our their allegiance to us has now improved. And so we can check those out. So going back to our fortress, R2 to zoom in. So we found a new silver mine. We started with 1 gold mine. And this tribe used to be 11% owing allegiance to us, is now up to 51%. And this one is up to 49%. Now, triangle button, and we can develop the town again. Develop town. And this time we will click the conscripts. So we will now be conscripting more troops. And we can continue appeasing the tribes, because at 70% or more, they will help us in certain battles. So it's good to have their allegiance to us, whether we are attacking or we are defending. So by end of next month, their allegiance, this particular tribe's allegiance to us will go up to 81. Let's appease the other tribe. That one will go to 79. So both will help us in the next battle. Maybe not this one, but in the next battle. Now, in this diplomacy, I still don't want to deal with the other daimyos. You can also start dealing with the emperor, the court in effect. But it takes a lot of money, and so at this early in the game, I will not. Let's not do that. So that is the second part of the game, and we see some fighting here. We have done whatever development that we can do for the month of July. See, this button no longer is available to us. We can only scout an enemy's castle or fortress. We cannot scout our own anymore because we have already done that, and we discovered a silver mine. Now this button is the only thing we can do is give leadership to another one of our officers, and the other one is expel one of our officers. Now in this, when you look at your own, when we look at our own fortress and look at our own officers, right R1 button shows us the stats. They're all blue. Blue means they're hardcore our people. They will not betray us. If they are yellow, then they are like, well, they can be whispered to by other daimyos. They can be turned to be more resistant to. Anyway, blues is good. Yellow is medium, and red is, well, they can actually be pirated or be hired by other daimyos. So these are areas that you can look at what they your own personal officers. So before going into the second battle, this is the end of the development of the second month of July. So I guess it's a good time, a good place to cut this episode at this time. And again, if you like this, please let me know by clicking on the like button. And if you haven't registered, please register. So the more episodes I can produce, you can easily follow them. Again, thank you very much for watching this and being registered with me. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.